You know it's super fly when Day Bar is opened. Hip-hop review, news, plus breaking new artists, pop culture, current events with an urban view of it. This is all things hip-hop, delivered raw, unpolitically correct, the fans' perspective, putting all artists in check. Dope content, current hot by remarkable men. Our thoughts, clearly. Welcome to Audio Theory.
Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well as the like button. What's good, Danny? How have you been? So you got a new setup?
New setup, bro. I was debating about taking this week off, but I had to come correct. I'm like, I know the audio quality's a little bit shitty, so if you guys can see on the YouTube videos, like, your boy has a new setup. I needed y'all to hear my thoughts. Clear thoughts, no excuse. So I'm good to go, man. How you been?
Been good. I came back from Hawaii last week. If any of the listeners heard the last episode, so adjusting to that, I ate like as horrible as I possibly could.
Is it horrible though when like all you eat is fish? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
it's
like,
not that bad.
It's
just a lot of
like
alcohol.
you were hiking like every day, so I feel like you also like spread that bitch out. Like,
yeah, it could have been worse, but a lot of the meals involved, it was heavy with the rice, beer.
And also like fried everything, right? Almost.
Not the fish, because I had a lot of raw fish from the poke spots. But the Spam obviously isn't the healthiest of meats. We had some like fried fish tacos and stuff. So it wasn't all completely healthy, but it also wasn't as bad as it could be.
All right, but that's the thing. Like, those are the good trips where like, everyone went to Europe, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna gain like 15 pounds out here for 2 weeks. And I came back and gained a pound. Because, bro, like, yes, you're eating everything nonstop, but you're also just constantly moving. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're never just in one spot doing nothing. So it seemed like you guys got around a lot while you were there. Yeah,
it was definitely pretty active. So I only put on a couple pounds, been hitting the gym the past couple of days. So
nice.
I feel like I never left, but just adjusting back to being in San Francisco.
What's the time difference between you and Hawaii?
It's 3 hours behind LA. So I was 6
terrible.
hours behind you when I was over
there. Yeah, not terrible. Nice. I had a nice little vacation myself. Went to Dallas for the Labor Day weekend, which was dope. Met Gina's family, the girlfriend's family, friends who I've never met. So that was cool. But what was funny is like all her friends were like, yo, why is he so excited to come down? Like, does he have a big announcement to, do? And I'm like, no, bro, I just need to know you have friends and family because I've met fucking no one and we've been dating for 7 months. So,
exactly.
Like, her stepmom legit thought I was gonna pop the question. I'm like, nah, dog, like that's not happening this trip.
Right. It's funny how girls always jump to that conclusion. Like, you can't be excited or do something nice just out of pure love or excitement.
Yeah.
It has to be a popular question.
You've met my family after a week of dating. Like, I want to meet everyone as well. Like,
right.
But it was cool, bro. Dallas is dope, bro. But a different kind of heat, dog. Like, because I was in California like around this time a couple of years ago when you were there to visit you, and then obviously I'm used to Florida heat. But bro, Texas heat, dog. Yo, like, you're sizzling. Like, there's just. Like, bro, you just get out of your car and you're like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I highly don't recommend it, bro. Dallas is dope and it's cool in the evening because it drops to like 75. But, bro, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., bro, boiling. So I was like, not dressed for, we actually went for a fucking hike in it for like 4 miles. And I was like, bro, like if that hike alone made me burn off everything I ate up until that point because I was sweating the moment I got outside, let alone after fucking, walking up and down. So
yeah, like barbecue sauce coming out of your pores.
Yo, beans and shit. Like,
Hey, how did you feel about Austin heat when we were there? Because I remember that being pretty fucking hot too, if I recall correctly.
But remember, that was also a month and a half, so almost like in the peak of fall. So it was like October. Right. So it was definitely different heat. Hot for sure. Because I remember like when I was walking around Austin, like I remember actually feeling a bit chilly, bro. Like I had a tank top on, like, but I felt chilly. So I was not feeling chilly in anything in fucking Dallas during September heat. So
yeah.
But great time. Family was phenomenal. A lot of vibing, a lot of weed smoking, bro. Like her mom is super chilled. Like was like rolling us a J like every other hour. And we're like, yo, we can't do this. Like we just like, there's no physical way we can keep smoking weed this much. So like,
nice. That's dope.
Yeah, a great time.
No pun intended.
Yeah, that was super dope. But yeah, man, phenomenal time. But obviously we had like a listening party to the Drake album, bro. Like I had so much work due on September 3rd. So like I really wanted to, like the moment the album dropped, I wanted to like just open a bottle of Prosecco and like just vibe. And I'm like, oh, I got too much work. But obviously we were debating about not doing this episode, but like we got to do a fucking, full take on this. So that's what we're gonna do, man. Let's just fucking jump into it, bro. So you stayed up for it in Hawaii times. I think it was probably like around 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. for you when it dropped.
Yeah, that's an overstatement because everyone else is debating if they wanted to get a good night's sleep or not, and I'm just like, should I postpone dinner like an hour? It was perfect for me.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, babe, it's like 1 a.m, it's out, and it actually wasn't out. Like it dropped like around 1:15, like my time. She's like, babe, you got to be up at 6 a.m. And I'm like, oh, fuck, you're right. All right, cool. But so your first go through of it, what were your thoughts on CLB?
Yeah, first listen, I'm not going to lie. It definitely was several shots of tequila deep. Like everyone else, I think we kind of feel like these drops by Drake are kind of like a holiday almost. So, or even like New Year's Eve.
Work should have been canceled. Like canceled.
Basically. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Canada made it a holiday. Yeah, but first listen, honestly, I was disappointed and I had time to reflect on why. And I think a lot of other people agree. And it's just a combination of things. And I think the context is important. But like for me personally, Drake's, wins the Artist of the Decade title. The album gets delayed 9 months. And I know like a bunch of episodes I kept saying like, the hype is, so strong now. Like I feel like I might be disappointed, but who knows? So that added to it. He does the whole Billboard thing. And I'm just expecting, I guess, like a new perspective or story from him. And while I thought the songs were above average, if you compare it to everyone else in the industry, I was like, okay, this was it. Like, it felt like just kind of like a dump of dope songs that he had lying around and was like, here, guys. And I guess it was anticlimactic. So that's why I felt that way on first listen.
Okay, so I will give you my genuine of like, so on first listen is where I fucked up and was strictly comparing it to Donda, right? So on first listen, I'm just like, my head has been brainwashed by all of us, including you and I, that like, who's gonna have the better album, right? Which like we'll get into, like, it shouldn't fucking matter who was better. It's just like, did you enjoy it, right? So in first run through, I'm like, this is better, right? That's all I'm thinking about. Like, am I enjoying this experience more than my first run through with Donda, right? Because my first run through with Donda, I know the atmosphere you're in matters, but bro, I was on a plane, fucking cramp ass seats, like songs are mad fucking long, flight's almost over, album's not almost over. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on right now, right? Like it was just like it wasn't a good experience at all, like at every level. So my first experience with CLB, it was a more enjoyable album, right? Like from the jump, more songs that are upbeat, fun. I'm at the gym, fucking knife talk and way too sexy, just hit you differently, right? So I'm like, yo, this is fun. But I also came to the end of that listen and it felt like I may have heard these songs before, if that makes sense, right? Like it wasn't anything that was like, oh my God, stop everything. But, I mean, I've never heard a sound like this before, right? When we heard, to your point, when we were talking offline, like God's Plan or YOLO for the first time, like, other Drake bangers that like, it makes you just fucking take a step back. It's like, bro, like, what the fuck is he doing in the song right now? So my thing with CLB, like first run through, was like, me personally, better than Donda, but nothing that felt like he pushed the envelope, because it just felt like I've heard this album before, right? It was just, again, and that just may be his formula, right? Like, yo, I know what to do. I'm gonna have enough songs just for women, enough songs that are kind of in between. I'll have enough bangers. And then because this motherfucker's trying me, I'm gonna have like 2 or 3 songs that I'm just taking direct shots at him, which is a little bit different if we're gonna, be honest, from other shit he's done. But first run through, I'm just like, better than Donda, but not blown away. That was my my reaction.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And it's crazy how much your perspective can change over a couple of weeks with music. But I'd say I agree with enjoying CLB more. For me personally, that's just more like my musical style. So for anyone listening, I do think creating a Donda requires more artistic talent in a sense, and it was definitely more of an experience. But for me personally, my subjective opinion was that CLB was just easier to listen to and more cohesive, but it wasn't anything groundbreaking or brand new that Drake brought to the table. And I think that's why so many people are criticizing it. And it works for him and it has worked. But I think he's not going to be artist of the decade again if we just get 10 more CLBs or whatever the case is. People are going to love him still. He's still going to sell out shows and shit. But if he wants to be in that conversation of being like the GOAT and all that, I feel like he's going to have to switch it up or talk about something else. I don't know. But it didn't seem like there was many memorable moments from this album to where people were talking about it, except for the lesbian thing, the cover art, and Way Too Sexy.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So again, but we were very specific in this initial conversation, that first run through, right? So second, third, fourth, whatever number you're on right now, how has CLB grown on you?
For me, the second, third, fourth listen, I think I really appreciated the variety. And I think that's something I've noticed with Drake is like everyone likes a specific persona that he puts on. Like some of my brothers are like, I only fuck with R&B Drake. I don't like when he raps. For me personally, I love when he raps. I'm not really a fan of the R&B stuff. Some people love the dance hall, Caribbean type stuff.
Yeah, that was my worst. I like that in general, but we'll get to specific songs. I think that was the only bro, this song has no business being on this album. You know what I'm talking about? The one with that girl from Essence and Wizkid? I was like, bro, you're reaching on this one. That was the only one I'm like, my nigga, nah. But
I felt that way at first, but then the second, third listen, I was like, this song, while it doesn't seem like it fits at all, I actually love that song now.
It was a vibe? Okay, fair.
Yeah. That's some shit, like if I was in Hawaii or something, it would make sense. But when you go from 21 Savage gang shit to that song, I'm like, where am I now?
Yo,
I fucking step through a portal or some shit. But the Future shit, the trap shit, that sounded like something that might have been off What a Time to Be Alive or something.
Which we were just talking about, which is dope. For me, I was like, one of my thoughts, listening to multiple, I was like, bro, I need What a Time too. That's what the fuck I need. You know what I mean? I was actually wanting that. But keep going, my bad, I didn't cut you off.
But yeah, I think for me, the second, third listen, I had to take a step back. I had to not compare it to Donda or his old albums or The Beef or any of the other shit. And I was like, okay, this is a fun body of work. And if you just remove the context of that shit, then you can definitely enjoy this album.
Yeah. So same, dude. So I'm, I think, on my fourth, fifth run. So my honest opinion, it was that I thoroughly enjoyed the album the more I listened to it. For just to your point, for what it is, a Drake album, right? Sometimes we're fiending for a fucking feature, and it's bro, just be grateful you got 21 tracks of him fucking spitting, right? And dude, there's a bunch of standouts for me, bro. And I know we were talking about this, so we can go into my top three was Way Too Sexy, I Miss You Too with Cudi. Which, bro, that might, dude, we've been waiting fucking 15 years for that song. You know what I mean? How Drake got a better feature than Kanye from Cudi is wild to me, dog. So, and then 7 a.m. on Bridal Path, I know we had him going at Meek, but, bro, this felt more real. And we'll get to later, if this whole beef for him and Kanye is even real, probably isn't. But that song made me feel no, this dude actually hates this fucking guy and would love to get him one-on-one. Cause again, we joke around yo, I hate when Drake talks his gangster shit, but that's why I appreciate Night Talk so much. Cause let 21 Savage talk the goon shit, and then you're just saying, bro, I dare you to try me, cause look who the fuck I roll with. You know what I mean? That's who I think what Drake really is trying to get at. Bro, I'm not that guy. But the people I roll with are. And try me, dog. So like, I enjoyed Knife Talk, like, so, but not my top three. So for me, top three were Way Too Sexy, I Miss You Too, 7 A.M. Bridal Path. But dude, TSU, In the Bible, YOLO Part 2, Knife Talk, Love for All, and Girls Want Girls. Bro, what is that? 9 songs that are all like, I would happily repeat over and over again. That in itself tells you what kind of album we got, right? So it's just a good fucking body of work, bro. Like it really is. He also, like, to my point, has a few songs that I'm like, like it didn't have to be here. But if we go back to the comparison, we'll get that even more later on. But like, what I enjoyed about him with those songs that felt longer than normal, he went back to his old approach of like almost making it 2 songs in one, right? The beat change, and he's still on topic, but it just kind of whole different song, but kind of the same song, like almost back to like his Take Care album. Whereas my beef with Donda is like, bro, you making songs like 9 minutes that don't have to be 9 minutes, and like it's just like 3 or 4 hooks on a song. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love Jail Part 2, but I'm like, does this shit have to be so fucking long? You know what I mean? So that's what I appreciate even more. You know, when I was running through the CLB again, it's like, bro, like there's like actual craftsmanship in trying to make this sound slightly different from the normal Drake form.
Yeah, definitely agree. And maybe that's why I didn't like Donda on first listen, was because it felt like it needed and deserved like a more cinematic experience, like either in the car or just on speakers. But I had this shit just playing on my phone, like 10 feet away from me. And I'm like, this is it. And then I took the time and I had a different perspective. But in terms of CLB, my top 3, I guess in this order, Fair Trade, probably my favorite one. You know, I love Travis. But
that's the funny thing. That's not even any of my top 9. You know what I mean? Oh, wow. So that's what tells you how like unique this body of work really is.
Yeah, everyone definitely has their different favorites from this one, which is dope because that means he did something right. So Fair Trade, I thought Drake was just like classic Drake and killed that like emotional, I have no friends type shit. And then second, the Kid Cudi one, I thought the intro was super like emotional.
Oh, bro, that Juice WRLD was phenomenal, dog. Phenomenal.
And it reminded me of my brother too, because when he passed, Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon had come out. And then also I was in Hawaii when it happened.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that.
I remember it came on and I was like looking outside, and that moment, obviously there's bias to it, but I thought the song was just like super dope, and again, exciting to see them come together. Come together after all the shit that they've been through, especially with the Kanye beef.
Dude, but even they had beef though, right? Like even I think Drake had a rap line or some interview where he was like, yo, go get mental help, don't kill yourself tonight. I was like, bro, like, yo, what do we
Which also reminds you like how much goes on behind the scenes that we just never see. Like it's not in a tweet or an Instagram post. Like there's clearly a lot going on that will.
It also reminds you just how young these niggas are, bro. Like clearly like young 20 millionaires, like ready to say whatever the fuck they want, because like, yo, who's gonna check me? You know what I mean? Like so it was definitely a dope moment to just see them, you know, on a track together.
And then last but not least, No Friends in the Industry. I think this one, like out of all the ones, definitely is one of the few that has like big hit potential. And I don't know, I just like that aggressive energy. I know like what you mentioned with Knife Talk, when Drake talks his shit, and he's not necessarily implying that he's gonna go shoot up somebody or anything, but when he just is in his bag and is talking his shit, I like that a lot. Kind of like was it Energy from If You're Reading This It's Too Late? Kind of like that style. So again, I think there's a lot of different moods you could pick and choose from this album.
Right. And I really do think, bro, like think back to anything, man. Like listening to certain songs, albums, body of work, like it really what you can relate to the most out of it, right? So like my thing, if we're gonna rate or compare the two albums, like, bro, there's just more stuff that two 30-year-old young individuals who been in the dating scene, lucky enough to have a good standard of living, can just relate to more, right? With Drake, or aspire to be, right? Like, so he touches us on like, on like multiple levels that we're like, bro, like, why wouldn't I enjoy listening to this more? But then where I think Donda got me, we'll take a left real quick to Kanye. Where I think Donda got me after multiple run-throughs, I think I'm on my third run-through now of Donda, is that, bro, like, there's a lot of songs on that. I think one specifically being Jesus Lord Part 2 with Jay Electronica and the Locks. Again, it's just 9 minutes long, but it still slaps. But like again, that's a dude who lost his mom. I lost my mom. Religious, I'm religious. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of inspirational shit on this album that if you've been in those moments yourself, you're like, damn, I really relate to this, dog. And also, it's like aspiring. It's not talking about just being sad. It's like, yo, be good, trust God, like, you're gonna be fine. Like, and then the line he has about his mom, like, the one about like, you left the party too early. Once you left, the party stopped. Like, that shit hit me on a real deep level, bro. Because again, it was my mom's birthday a couple weeks ago. I'm in a group chat with all her friends. And dude, my mom was like her last 5 years of her life, she just threw parties. Like, she was she threw massive parties in India. That's what people knew her for. Yeah. So like, and obviously COVID happened and she passed away like right in the midst of COVID. And like one of her friends was like, Fenny, you passed away and all the parties just stopped happening, right? So like, that shit hit me on a deep level, which again, your average listener who hasn't lost someone yet, you know, because we're all gonna lose someone at some point in our lives, like, maybe just doesn't get it, right? So on more listens of Donda, and then trying, like, to your point, trying to understand what he was trying to do. Like, to put Donda together is a fucking, like, thing to achieve in itself. To just come close to that is wild. And then it really has to be, I think, something you see in person. Like, there's no way you fully get the enjoyment of this album just listening through your speakers, headphones, wherever the fuck you're at. Like, you have to be there, bro, because think about those drawn out moments and then a random voice just chimes in and then you're like, oh, wow, that would be sick live, because, you know what I mean? You think it's over, next song, and he just brings it back, right? It's kind of like I remember going to Life of Pablo tour, and that song he has, Freestyle 4, whatever, when he just like grimy, but he just pauses, lets the beat ride, and then it just looking at the mosh pit go crazy. Like, that's what I could think of, like, for this album. Like, I think you just have to be there, bro, to properly understand it. And then you'll get a true essence of what he was going for, right? So, like, that's why I think, like, both our ratings, if you ask against now, it's a higher rating for Donda because you kind of understand what he was trying to achieve with the album. And then again, it's like, depending on where you're at mentally, it just hits harder for you.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with that take. And it kind of reminded me of when we were at Coachella, and we saw the Sunday service, and like how whack that might probably sound on fucking Apple Music or whatever the case is.
But, or just watching it from your computer. Like, watching if you're not like there, that shit looks like, yo, what are we doing, bro? Like, I'm looking through a fisheye camera. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Right. But in person, it was like one of the dopest experiences I could have had. And I feel like that really is what Donda was meant to be. And it makes it so hard to compare these two, but they were basically released at the same time, and like two of the biggest artists ever, especially within hip hop. And it's crazy that we are kind of forced to pick and choose a side when they're not even the same thing.
Yeah. That's the annoying part. And again, I blame our myself and you as well. Like, we fed into this shit, right? Like, we were like, yo, when is it dropping? And I'm like, oh, they're dropping the same time. So, dude, again, like, my first run through, like, I was only focused, is this better than Donda? I'm like, is this a good album? Is the intro slap? So yeah, that's annoying. But then what I will go back to Donda and discuss is that, yes, I do think this album was made for consumption in person, but at the end of the day, it's still an album, bro. And like, I don't like that we need Kanye or Kanye's team to explain certain things for us to be like, okay, I see what you were trying to do, right? With the whole Donda chant, right? Like, apparently that was like based off her heartbeat, and like and it was 55 times because she lived to be 55 or 56. Like, yeah, that's amazing, dude. But like, it didn't sound good. You know what I mean? So like, why should I feel bad? Because like, I'm like, bro, like I get what you were trying to do, but at the end of the day, like it's also, I mean, again, these guys are billionaires, bro. Like you can put out whatever the fuck you want. Like who the fuck are we, two guys on fucking YouTube talking shit, right? Like who, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, if you are making music for consumption, like I don't think you should put art out and then once people give you weird feedback, then give out the explanation for every single thing you did, right? Like then our opinion really doesn't matter for shit. Like I hate like when people like literally just put shit on a wall and like, oh, but this is from France and this is what I'm like, bro, shut the, this is shit on a wall. You know what I mean? Like, so like that's the only thing I don't like about Donda. It's like it comes out, does crazy numbers, which it's gonna do, but then the overall feedback isn't great. And then now we're getting lessons on why we should like the album for all these other reasons. I'm like, nah, dog, like it was all right, but like it's not really meant to be consumed audibly. Like it's just not. Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, stands on either side are gonna defend both albums to the death. And at the end of the day, it is pretty subjective. You know, the 14-year-old who wants to pop Molly to Way Too Sexy or whatever is gonna feel different gonna feel different than the 35-year-old who wants to sip wine to fucking Moon or whatever that song with was it Don Toliver?
That was fire, dog. That was fire. Bro, but you know what I am gonna give a just before we get into comparison completely, but like what I will give an edge to with Drake. And Kanye does this shit all the time. Even Travis does it, but like his albums aren't overwhelmed with features. Bro, put the names of the people on your album on the fucking album, dog.
Yeah.
Like, why am I guessing? Like why am I guessing?
Yeah.
Like, I should know. And then there's one song, bro, that I think Lil Yachty is featured, but it was meant to also have 5Yo Foreign, so it has 5Yo Foreign's ad-libs, but then it's Lil Yachty rapping. I'm like, bro, what is happening? Like right. I should know this going in. So that's like the one thing that annoyed the fuck out of me. I'm like, bro, who am I listening to right now?
Right.
So
yeah, and I didn't even know Chris Brown was on the album until Chris Brown was like, yo, he didn't even include my full verse on it. You know that song New Again? It's towards the end. But that one's actually one of my top 3 from it. But Chris Brown's like part of the chorus and not listed. And I didn't know like there's fucking 30.
But he had like a longer verse and he removed it?
Yeah, he had a longer verse and that was completely removed. But like you could vaguely tell that it's Chris Brown. Of course, it's like a whole choir and Chris Brown. But I was like, yo, why didn't he just credit all of these people? It seemed like he was on a mission to like not credit anyone for anything these past couple months.
Yeah, cause it'd be one thing, because I remember, Travis did the same thing with Astro, right? We didn't get the credits, and then when you hear Sicko Mode, you're like, oh shit, Drake's on. But my nigga, you got 27 songs and like 34 features. Like, we need to know what the fuck is happening.
Right. I don't know if there's some other artistic reason for that, so we wouldn't like skip tracks and shit, but
maybe,
who knows?
Dude. But I'm just like, that's like, if we're talking about just straight off, like off the bat, who gets a point? Drake gets a point for that, bro, because I'm like, you're not wasting my time. But I'm like, bro, like, there's like one song I actually enjoyed. I don't remember the name off the bat, but like, I'm like, who is this dude rapping? And like, I still have no idea who it is.
I know. I think I had to go on YouTube or something to like do a whole fucking investigation to figure out who some of these people were.
Yeah. Again, so to put not a nail in this, but just like to give CLB the proper respects it deserves. So what would your rating for now, 4 listens, or at least 4 listens for me, 3 for you, of CLB? What would be the proper rating for it?
And this is like not in comparison to anything else, just like
not
its
just
own
the
body.
album.
Okay,
yeah,
just the album. If 10 is like a classic, and 5 is like there's barely any repeatables, but it's not trash, I'd probably say 6.5 on a good day, a 7. Probably 6.5 feels more right to me.
All right, so I'm gonna give it a 7.5. So it's like a C+, bro. That seems low, to be honest, like on that scale.
I think letter grade would be easier for me than than out of 10.
So then what letter grade would you give it?
For me, I would just give it a B.
Yeah, so I would give it a B as well, right? Like I would give it a solid B. Like, because like, yeah, 7, I was gonna go with 7.5. I'm like, yo, 75, like that just seems like, you know, it's better than that, right? Like it's definitely better than that. I would give it a B on just the album alone. Like, again, like, dude, I listed off 9 songs I fuck with. You listed off 2 more that I also fuck with, you know what I mean? So if we have 11 songs now that we both would thoroughly bump over and over again, you have a fucking very good body of work. Now, this is Drake's problem. We've mentioned this for years, not years, but for multiple episodes of this podcast, that he is only being compared to himself right now. So if Yachty, Fivio, Uzi put out this body of work, bro, they're getting fucking accolades like, yo, the dawn of a new era, right? But Drake is only being compared to Drake, and it's like, it's not, you know, Take Care. It's not, you know,
nothing was the same.
Yeah, it's none of that shit, right? So that's the thing, right? So, but I think a very good body of work, but I would have to give it a B. So now let's take a few steps back to last week's episode. If you had to regrade Donda, you gave it a 6, I gave it a 6.5. So now using a proper letter rating, what would you give Donda now after properly taking it?
I'd probably say a B-. And I think it just really does have to do with kind of the repeat tracks, the messiness of it, and some of the things that I wish were different. And if we're comparing Kanye to Kanye, I feel like his previous bodies of work blow the shit out of this out of the water. But yeah, I'd say a B-.
Yeah. Fuck, man. I thought we were coming here to fucking throw balls, bro. I'm probably gonna agree with you on that one as well. But so like, yeah, but for similar points though, bro, like I think it's inspirational, right? Like there is a message in the messiness with it, right? Yeah. Like I think I stand by my comments from last week though, right? Like what I didn't like, it was just all over the place. Still all over, but I do love, like, dude, it's a Christian album with, he got the most popular hip hop artists to just talk about God in some capacity. You know, it's dedicated to his mom. Like, these are all things that me as a human being just fucking connects with. So I'm like, bro, these are all phenomenal things. And then again, in dissecting it more, I did enjoy some songs more than I did previously. So I'm gonna go with a B-, C+, B-, like right in that range, right? I think if we remove 9 songs, dude, you have everything that's built for a classic album. Like, I thoroughly believe that shit, bro. But you can't take away from, like, bro, there's like, you have a lot of throwaway songs, bro. And then unlike Drake, again, we have to compare because it is what it is. Like, they happen to fall in the same week, like we have to. But like, unlike Drake, bro, like I really think it's a mixture. You tell me, these motherfuckers essentially have the same features on most of these albums, right? I really do think though, there's more. If you're the featured artist, I think they themselves had more hype going into the Donda body of work that, yo, these motherfuckers came correct, dog. But in doing that, dude, Kanye just sounds like, yo, he fired a few fucking ghostwriters. It's like, yo, some of his lyrics were just like, didn't hit. Like, and yo, back in the day, like I remember like those good, we mentioned last week, like those Good Friday drops, like, bro, I don't give a fuck how long the song was. I was looking for the Kanye verse because you know that shit's gonna be fucking clever, witty, and just have you dying. And like most of this album, even the ones that fucking hit, I'm just like, bro, all right, man. Like, I get what you're trying to say, but like that shit was, you know what I mean? This is your album, bro. Like, this is don't come at me like you're the no, this is your album. And there's plenty of songs. We'll get to the diss track where you can fucking spit, but it just seemed like rushed. You know what I mean? Like, just like, all right, I got the verse I wanted. Let me just get my vocals on and just put it out and get another song going. I'm just like, bro, come on, man. Like, take a step back. So, and we got to compare. That's why I appreciate CLB more. Like, I think for the most part, Drake carried his weight or was the best verse on every song that he's featured with another artist on. Because again, it's your fucking album, bro. Like, and even Jay-Z has been mocked by somebody else in his own song. But like, it can't be a consistent thing. Whereas like, yo, like you're like the third or fourth best verse on your own fucking album. Like, that's weird.
Yeah. I mean, maybe for Kanye, I feel like thematically he was kind of like restricted in a sense. So he had that like weird Adam rib bar and stuff like that. And I don't know. I haven't tried to like make a super religious song before, but I feel like there's only so much you can really do, or maybe it just didn't come as naturally for him or what, because I feel like a lot of the stuff I do like from him is a lot more aggressive and has a different tone.
Yeah, and that's a fair point to do that. That's probably a wonderful tangent then into the so Drake feeling himself. I think it was Friday night, right? The album already dropped, shit's doing crazy numbers, and then he dropped a diss track by Kanye directed at him, which featured Andre 3000. And that song, you know, he don't sound like Pastor West at all. You know, this motherfucking gloves off, wants all the smoke. You know what I mean? So, like, your thoughts on that dropping, and you know, Drake's mindset in dropping that in the first place.
Yeah, luckily I happened to be on Instagram. I think this was the day after the album dropped or something, and Drake posted
Friday night.
Friday night, Drake posted that he was the mix was starting on OVO radio or Sound 42 or whatever it's called, and I was just casually listening, not expecting much, and then I heard him play that Kanye track, and I was like trying to Shazam it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I heard
what did I just listen to?
Well, it was really Andre 3000's voice that caught me off guard, because I was like, this is one of the like dopest beats and verses I've heard. Super like heartwarming verse about his own mom and talking about blades of grass, like potentially being her like reincarnated, like God give me a sign type of thing.
Bro, went the fuck off.
That his verse was flawless. And then it got to Kanye's part, and I'm like, is this the same song? Like, how do we go from talking about your mom who passed away and like asking God questions to fucking fashion and Kid Cudi's dress and all this other shit? And I mean, I hear that there's an original version that doesn't have the diss, or a new version that does, and Drake released this out of spite or something. But I do think the song is super dope, like doper than anything I heard on Donda. But I think it was also sloppy of Kanye to even think he could follow up Andre 3000's verse with something like a petty diss that was unnecessary.
Yeah. So for the song itself, what's the song called again, by the way?
I believe that one's Life of the Party.
Life of the Party,
right,
that's
what it's supposed to be.
So that's my thing. It's one thing if you're like an up and coming artist and you get some other dudes on the track, like, yo, I'm gonna diss this dude that had nothing to do with you, like, don't work. Like, remember like the whole like on Pop Smoke's last album, there was a Pusha T song, but it also featured Young Thug, and Young Thug's like, yo, like, if this is a diss at Drake, I don't want to be a part of this song. You know, remember, like, you give someone the heads up. And that's Young Thug, bro, demanding that. Bro, Andre 3000 is literally like, if we have 10 art, like, he is a GOAT in music, period. Yo, you gotta give that dude the heads up. Like, oh, by the way, like, I know you don't do songs all the time. I'm gonna diss the biggest artist in the world. Hope you're cool with it. Like, you gotta give him at least so he can stay on brand, because clearly whatever message he got from Kanye was, this is about my mom, religion, heaven, let's just find parallel. Like, bro, because his verse was flawless, bro. Like, yo, flawless. And then, yeah, it just felt like a different song on the same beat. I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? It just happened. Yeah. Like, yo, think about how high off life you have to be if you're Drake, though, bro. Like, this motherfucker is like, yo, I'm going to put a radio show out like 7 hours after I drop the album. I'm going to play whatever I fucking want. Oh, no, there's a fucking Kanye diss that completely contradicts everything you've been seeing from him for the past 3 years. And it's at me. I don't care. Boom. And like the internet also loses their fucking mind. Like, bro, like, it's just, I think it's a fucking chess move, bro. Like, it's just like a chess move. Like,
I know a lot of people have been saying that, like it being a power play and him being unfazed and stuff. But the only reactions I could find from that drop was like, oh shit, like this song was better than Donda and CLB combined, or like this is the best song Kanye's done in 5 years, or whatever the case is. So while I feel like if there is damage done, it's kind of like calling Kanye a hypocrite or petty or whatever. But outside of that, I almost feel like it almost helped Kanye in a way, like, oh, he still got it, or is able to put out shit like this. We want more, so to speak.
So I don't know if help, bro, because I would just contradict that. So like, again, excuse me, the help. So one, you literally made Andre 3000 look stupid that he had to come out and fucking release a statement. Like of all like I didn't expect that. So dick move by you. Two, it's a fire song with some funny bars at Drake. And Drake is like, yeah, have it. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like the fucking, the 8 Mile scene where like Slim Shady's like, you know, making all the jokes about himself before the other guy can get to him. It's like, bro, like, fine, bro. Like, yo, call me, cancel my meetings with Nike. Like, bro, I am untouchable right now. So that's how I took it. And then 3, bro, like, I think if we go back to the Rap Radar interview he had right before quarantine, bro, like, I think he genuinely believes that Kanye's a fucking hypocrite. And like, he wanted to prove it to people like, bro, not only is he a fucking troll hypocrite, here's a fucking song where all this shit he keeps telling you people to make more money off, that's not him at all. So I don't know, bro. Like if I'm Drake, I feel like that's huge fucking like boss move. Like, yo, like, bro, you guys can love this fucking song. Like, bro, this shit's gonna do nothing to me. So yeah, I'm gonna play it on my shit and enjoy it.
But would you disagree though if Kanye, let's say, because I heard there is a different version that was performed live in Vegas or something where it wasn't about Drake. But would you feel differently if that turned out to be the real quote unquote official version that was going to be released, and for some reason this scrapped diss version, which appears to not be finished because of the mumbling and shit at the end, if that version somehow got leaked to Drake by like a mole within the Kanye camp, and then Drake's like, oh shit, well, I know this one's probably never going to see the light of day, but I'm just going to release it to do basically what you just said. Do you think there's any merit to Drake doing this if secretly or behind the scenes Kanye was actually never planning to put that out because of this whole like new
So you're saying do I believe that Drake knows the other version of the song?
No, like if Kanye changed his mind and was like, you know what, this isn't right, I'm gonna actually not release this version and release the other version, do you think does that change your opinion on Kanye being a hypocrite or whatever?
I don't, dude, because like, again, I don't think he's a hypocrite. Like, I've been saying this for fucking years. I think you can be a Christian and still fucking curse on records. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's perfectly fine. I just think it looks hypocritical because he's been so from the jump, you know, no cursing. Like, bro, he censored everyone on this fucking album. Like, that was just weird. You know what I mean? Like, that was also the thing I didn't like about the album. It's like, bro, if either tell them don't curse at all, or if they're gonna
like
at least
Justin Bieber does.
Yeah, or do something, bro. Like, the fuck's like, it was just weird. But then he still said throat goat on a song. And I'm like, bro, what are we doing?
Yeah,
but again, I just think he's been hypocrite. Like, even the fact if he was like, bro, never mind, like, I shouldn't put this song out, bro, like, it's the way those lyrics hit, bro, and then also you with the trolling and the text messaging, it makes me feel that he is hypocritical, bro. Like, he feels like he has to put on this new extra persona now, for whatever reason, but he's really not that person in public or with people. So that's how I take it, to be slightly hypocritical, and I give Drake the benefit of the doubt and just give him a kudos for even playing that card.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure like what the chess moves are, just because when Kanye leaked the address, everyone was calling him petty. Then now with the Drake doing this, everyone's calling him petty and being fake, unfazed, kind of like, oh, I don't like take this track. But I know a lot of people are pointing fingers to the fact that it seems like even he may be obsessed with Kanye low-key at this point. Not obsessed with him, like what he's doing, but more so like, I've had enough of him like just poking me over and over. Like, let me just do this trippy verse, call him out, let me throw subliminals in the album, let me release his song and stuff. And it's to the point where I don't even know like if half this shit is even real to begin with, but I feel like it has to be with all the Pusha stuff and everything.
Yeah, but Pusha's a fucking like just obsessed, bro. Like, he just is fucking obsessed. But my thing, like, what's odd, bro, like, I go back to like anything, like, I know 50's like the extreme, but remember, like, yo, if anyone did a song with Ja Rule, 50 will have a diss track for you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, you were getting the smoke tomorrow. And it's just odd, bro, that again, I don't know the full features for Kanye because it's not on the but it seemed like they had the same features throughout, except the Future, because obviously Future is only with, with Drake on this. But like it's odd for all these dudes, especially people who are close to Kanye, like Ty Dolla and Cudi and Jay, to still do a track with Drake if that beef was real. Like, either they're just like completely above this and they like had a group chat and they're like, yo, listen, guys, like, make your money. I'm not gonna get offended. But dude, with these billionaires and the egos they have, I cannot believe that they're genuinely okay for their friends to perform a song with their enemy if this is a true beef. Like I don't see it, dog. Because like,
yeah, but I feel like
someone who's go ahead.
No, finish it.
I was gonna say, if I know someone doesn't fuck with you, but you're my boy, like, brother, I don't fuck with him. You know what I mean? Like, and like I'm not saying all these dudes are best friends with either of them, but I know Cudi allegedly is, right? I know fucking Jay essentially fucking signed this dude. They had their beef, but they got back together. So you're gonna have a coming together moment and then go do a song with a guy who I fucking hate the most right now? Like, that just seems odd to me.
Yeah. But I know a lot of people take the approach of like, well, he's not your enemy, so I understand why you could fuck with him. So long as, he didn't do anything to you, then it makes sense why you would fuck with him. And I feel like with them, since it's not like gang related shit or super tense like that, at least it doesn't seem like it.
Right.
Like,
no one got shot in the foot. No one got, no one baby mama got slapped at. Yeah.
Right. So I feel like even though it is a beef, it seems like I feel like it's on a more petty level to where no one's, at least now, getting hurt behind this shit, and they're so big that it's almost unfair to demand that like Travis not do a song with Kanye or Cudi not do a song with Drake if it makes sense. I feel like since there's no bloodshed, it's not like,
and as long as that you're not jumping on the song and also like making it seem like you're dissing me as well.
Right. Yeah, like singing a hook to a diss song or some shit.
Yeah. As long as like on the track, there's no actual going. I see what you're saying, and I don't disagree with that. But again, just seeing those lists, like, it makes me think at my heart to heart, like, this is all fake, bro. Like, there's no way this is like a real thing. Like, it's just like, we've been talking for fucking, I think, almost an hour, and at the end of this, I don't believe it's real. Like, I think it's fun. I think Drake is annoyed by maybe some of his antics and just like, bro, I'm gonna fucking go at you, but fam, like, we could have fucking lunch at Nobu tomorrow and we'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't actually think, like, the albums made me believe even more so that this is not a real thing. Even though I love 7 a.m. on Bridal Path where he's like going at Kanye, I didn't believe it. Like, it just, like, I don't know. I can't hear the Cudi song. I can't hear the Jay song and Ty Dolla and actually believe that, these are Kanye's fucking people, and I'm gonna go do a song with Drake, unless it was just like, bro, like, who cares?
I agree with that. To agree, I feel like I change my mind every other day. Like, some days I'm like, oh shit, this is real, and other days I'm like, there's no way. But when it comes to, like, for instance, Consequence, like, Kanye's boy apparently released a diss track calling out Drake's mom and shit, and I feel like once you get to that point, there's no real. Like, I feel like it's almost like the versus battles. Like, you'd have to draw a line. Like, hey, you can make fun of my hairline and this and that, but like, once you put my mom in this shit, then I'm gonna choke you out when I see you.
Yeah. It's almost like, do the goons know that this is just a joke? You know what I mean? Like, kind of a thing. Yeah, I feel you. Again, we don't know anything. We don't have an insider. We don't have a mole in either camp. But like, I would put like a 85% chance that this is all just for them to both have massive first weeks, which is exactly what they did, right? In a time where no one is doing well musically, these two motherfuckers had probably combined, 1 million first week actual sales, which like doesn't happen. So I don't know, bro. I lean towards it's more that gimmicky, fun, competitive, right? This is probably the most, like, dude, think about, like, dude, it's fucking September. Think back to fucking February and March when this shit was dry out here, dog. And we're like, yo, there is nothing to listen to. And then we just had not even, bro, a week of just like us nonstop playing 2 albums. Like, when the fuck does that happen, bro? So I'm just leaning towards it was more for sport and, 2 heavyweights going at it, quote unquote. But I would have to lean towards, I can't see this shit being true. And then I just think Push is just sticking to his persona. Maybe he generally doesn't fucking like Drake, but all he's doing is liking tweets. Like, okay, bro, like, I don't care.
Yeah. No, I feel like there's absolutely no way he could like Drake. I actually listened to Story of Adidon or whatever, just to relive that moment, which was insane in itself. And the words he spoke, I feel like there's no way anybody could be co-sign that shit. That shit was like, when you call out people's parents and kids and stuff.
Yeah. I think that's genuine. I think he genuinely doesn't like him. But as far as Kanye and Drake themselves, but I know I can't believe it. But again, I definitely enjoyed the battle, quote unquote. I enjoyed the album. So I think, just to put a bow on this, I feel like what I took away from this is that, like, you have to, again, we're doing a show, we're trying to get ratings, we're trying to get viewers, subs, all that bullshit, right? We're trying to, like, not be out the news loop when we drop this. So we have to give an opinion, but, like, it's so hard, especially when, like, it matters, quote unquote, for these 2 albums. Like, you want to have the best take, bro. You can't have a good take on this shit really on first listen, right? And that's kind of what happened to both of us with Donda, right? Like, it fucking dropped randomly. We recorded because we didn't want to be out the loop waiting till Friday. And it's like, bro, like, we're not too far from our take, but our take has changed. And I think Drake has said this, like, bro, albums also just grow on you and age well if it's a good body of work. But I think it's really hard to fucking judge something, especially at this level when the artistry's already fucking miles ahead of us, to say, oh no, trash, C-, where it's just like, bro, we got to keep listening and figure it out.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think I'm going to start doing that moving forward, because there's a lot of up-and-comers who aren't clearly as big as Drake or Kanye, and I will passively listen to songs. I might even skip when the beat's taking too long to like the middle of the song. I'm like, this isn't it. And then they end up winning a fucking Grammy or something. And
you're like, bro, I just had him on my playlist. What song was this?
Right. And then I hear it at a house party or at your house or something, and I'm like, oh shit, this song.
You're like, yo, is Amini the greatest artist of all time?
Right? Yeah, like perfect example. And I think it just has to do with the fact we get so much good music, maybe not recently, yes, but maybe not like this year. And it's easy to just kind of overlook shit and be like, all right, well, let me listen to the next thing. And then before you know it, you haven't appreciated any of the hard work that these artists have put out. Yeah, for sure. I totally agree, bro. So we'll do a better job with that. So a couple more subjects before we get out of here. But this is one take I'm gonna fucking die on and stand by. September 8th. I said this, I think 3 episodes ago. No matter what Kanye or Drake put out, Nas will still have the album of the year. And bro, I am standing very firm on that soapbox, because whereas it was more concise, better production to match what he was trying to do, no skippable records, bro, I still take King's Disease 2 over both these albums, bro. Like, wholeheartedly stand by that. So that is one take I'm fucking, good on, bro, because I still think, I know we only have 3 or 4 months left in the year. We're going to get into what Kendrick might do, hinting at. But as of right now, I think King's Disease 2 is leading the race for best hip hop project of the year. What are your thoughts? Nice. I wouldn't discount that. And when you say that, do you mean like personally or Grammy wise? Like,
I mean, Grammy wise, dude, these guys, I don't know who the fuck is voting. So like, they might just get a hard on for Drake, and just have him. I'm just talking about like purists. Like, if you're a hip hop head, like, I don't think there's no way Drake listens to King's Disease 2 and doesn't say that's better than CLB. Like, I think like King's Disease 2 is just that much better than these 2 bodies of work, right? If we have to compare it because it is the nature of the sport. But 3 great bodies of work, I just think King's Disease 2 is like classic range, as opposed to these are just, again, Donda's fine. It's more of a in-person experience. And then CLB's good, but you also have a few tracks like, bro, like I think you're just trying to make this album a little bit longer. Yeah. Maybe the stream game. Where I think like Nas' only focus was, let me do the best fucking body of work with Hit Boy again. Whereas I think Drake got fucking not blindsided, but like made this album like, let me just be better than Donda. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So like that's where I think Nas has the advantage, bro. He was going up against nobody, just himself, which I think like at the end of the day is probably your ultimate goal, right? Just the only opponent you have is the man in the mirror. I think Nas just fucking like, yo, it's still like a couple levels above both those albums right now, which is crazy to me. If you would tell me a 48-year-old Nas will put out a better body of work that I related to more and enjoyed more, but I think it's a fact right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. Assuming Kendrick doesn't drop anytime soon and blow us out of the water, but
I think he is, bro. So like, do you have like more? So like, this is weird. So apparently he registered a bunch of songs with like his record label, like, but why didn't we do this research when like Kanye and Drake were like about to drop? We could have just saved all this fucking time and like not lose our mind.
I don't know how people access that information, but yeah, apparently he is doing that. But at the same time, I don't know if that necessarily means anything. I could technically upload my song and set this shit for release like 6 months from now.
Got it. Okay.
So,
okay.
I don't know how much weight that holds, but I mean, it sounds like he's done with something. So I feel like that's good news. And if
he had the cryptic like message he sent out like 2 weeks ago, right? So like if this is a rollout, it seems very endearing for sure.
And if I was him, I mean, with timing, I know the beginning of the year is pretty dead music wise. I imagine people consume more music in the late fall, winter. And with all this hype around, Kanye and Drake, I feel like it would only make sense for him, a month or two later to just be like, all right, here you guys go. Fuck all that stuff you were talking about. Now you got a third person to add to this conversation and just capitalize on this. Or maybe he doesn't give a fuck and he'll just drop this on like January 2nd when everybody's hungover and shit.
I don't know, dude, but that like a couple of those verses in Family Ties makes me think he does give a fuck, or at least is very fully aware of like what people are saying. True. Whereas like I think, I don't know, bro, if I was a betting man, I would say it's coming this year, only because I think he's like salivating and like, bro, like, I'm really gonna remind motherfuckers who the fuck I am, like, and then I'm gonna dip for a while. So like, and then again, I don't think these two put out great bodies of work. And again, first of all, like, we need to time out. One of my takes was like, I don't think we should be comparing Christian albums to hip hop music. And like, that's also like a side note. Like, I don't know. There's something like that. I don't know if it's the Jesus in me or like whatever, but I don't think it's fair to like, someone's praising God and then
way too sexy.
I'm like, oh, that song is trash. It's like, all right, bro, but it's not the same subject. Like, what are we talking about? So that's a side note. But just looking at Drake, because I don't think Kendrick looks like Kanye as a, competition, because like he's a producer who also rhymed and like is a different headspace right now completely. I don't think anything came out this year. Again, also with Nas, like Nas is a GOAT in himself. So I don't think Kendrick saw J. Cole and Drake bodies of work and was like, oh no, let me fall back and go back to the lab. I think he's like, bro, what I got for you motherfuckers when this shit comes out, y'all gonna know who's number one. And I'm not, top three, like, no, one. So I would bet on Kendrick dropping some shit this year, dog. And just even more so because he really wants to remind people like, yo, I really am the best at this shit.
And I'm hoping he does, because it can only serve Kanye and Drake well. They're gonna have to try harder if they really care about their perception in the industry. And I know Drake is obviously chilling and doing his album related shit and enjoying life, but I can imagine that as unfazed as he looks, like at the end of the day, he still is eager to be that top guy and everything. And I feel like for the next project, he's going to be like, all right, I'm going to come back even harder and impress you guys this time, hopefully.
I think so too, bro. And again, I hope they don't play the streaming game because I feel like they both did, bro. Like they remember before it was like, all right, have shorter songs so people can have like, you know, but then they're like, oh no, have a longer album so people have to like play the whole thing. And I'm just like, bro, like, or just give me a good 12 songs. Like that makes sense. But to your point, bro, like I do think he's unfazed. I think Drake's on top of the fucking world right now, rightly so. Like, bro, like albums doing crazy. He is getting, you know, praise for a lot of the shit. But I do think he got a loophole, bro. Because like just like my first listen, I don't think people went through a third and fourth, fifth time. I think all he had to do was like be better than fucking Kanye, to whatever that means. And like, so I think people are giving him a pass. All right, it wasn't a Drake classic, but you know the nigga was better than Donda or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he gets a pass for what. Again, who knows what's gonna happen in the future? What beef they may stir up later on, but I think he's getting a pass, right? And I don't know, rightly so, whatever. But it's like, well, it was better than Donda, and I enjoyed it more, so you know he wins. And it's like, all right, but he didn't win to his categories. You know what I mean? So again, he was finally able to not be going up against Drake. It was Drake versus Kanye as opposed to Drake versus Drake. So I think he's benefiting from that right now, where it's not, you know, being diagnosed, well, this track was trash and what was that hook, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, it's better than Donda, so cool.
Well, I don't know, because like online I've seen, and it's hard to tell because there's so many trolls everywhere, but like everywhere I go, even including like Academics stream, which is like notoriously a Drake Stanny place. He did like a song by song battle, so to speak. Donda like won with flying colors. Everywhere I go, people are like, CLB sold more, but Donda's still better. And it very well could be people who just like literally want to see Drake fail. But I feel like CLB releasing almost elevated people's attention to Donda to the point where like everyone kind of trashed Donda at first, and then they heard CLB and they were like, well, at least the Donda is meaningful and impactful now, so that's better.
I see what you're saying. I don't know. I haven't seen that personally. Again, I'm not trying to stick to my circle of friends, but like at least the people I follow, like whenever I ask, like I go back and forth, everyone's leaning towards CLB just being a more enjoyable take, enjoyable piece of music. So I don't know, you may be right, dude, but like I don't know what I'm seeing just in the social media realm. It seems that more people are leaning towards like Donda's not trash, but CLB's better. Whereas I think like people were like, Donda's garbage. You know what I mean? Like, what was he doing? Like, why did he rush this? He should have waited till it's actually done. Whereas like now people are like, yeah, it was good. I get what he's trying to do. But everything I'm seeing is that CLB is still, you know, better. But again, dude, that's how divided it is, bro. And that's why, like, you know, these guys are genius is because like, bro, that's all we're talking about right now. And their numbers are insane, bro, insane. What the fuck? Like these numbers are going to end up being for both of them. So again, I think they played all of us. They're like, bro, oh my God. I like that meme you sent me where it's like Drake laughing on FaceTime at Kanye. Like I legit think that's happening, bro. Like they're like, bro, we got him.
Right.
Amen, Lahaim. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's fans out here on both sides, like literally ready to kill the other side. Like the conversations get so hostile so quick. Like you can't even be like, oh, this album was okay or this was okay. People are like, Drake is a fucking trash artist, or Kanye's, you know, an insane Trump lover who doesn't know how to fucking make a complete song. And I'm just like, yo, calm the fuck down. Are they paying you? Because like, there's no reason to get this angry.
Yeah, it's not that deep, dude. It's not that deep at all. But yeah, I mean, again, kudos to them. Again, it's been a fucking phenomenal month in music. If you go back, because I know like Nas dropped like a month ago, so the build up for these two albums, the rollout to both albums. So again, shout out to them. So let's pick a heat of the week then, just for the hell of it. So one banger that people need to know that's going to be on the playlist is like that's the one that's going to either grow on you, or is it a good spot right now?
One banger from the albums?
Whatever, bro. It could be a song that's not even on one of these two fucking albums that you want people to listen to.
So after our like a whole discussion about taking the time to re-listen to shit, I don't know if you've heard Isaiah Rashad's album.
Dude, I downloaded it, but did not fucking properly give it its like Gotta know, dude. For me, the house is burning, right?
Yeah, the house is burning.
Yeah, which track? Because I don't know. For me, like, I don't know, like it just felt slow. And then I listen to my shit in the gym. So like, if it's not able to get me through a workout, I'm just like,
yeah. I think that's the problem with some of these releases. But I listened to it while I was working, and the song I really loved was called Chad.
Chad. Oh, with YGTUT?
Yeah. And that one actually might work in the gym. It's not like a super high paced song, but it has a bump to it, and it's more fast paced than some of the other songs.
Got it.
But I'm actually going to see him live in a few weeks.
Oh, nice.
Decided to pull the trigger on that, since it's the venue's like 3 blocks from my apartment. And I went back to the album to make sure I wanted to actually see him and that I didn't just like 1 or 2 songs.
Right, because I mean, again, to risk COVID over his track, it's like I can just stay at home.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not about to die over somebody who has like 1 banger. But
but he's solid. Super well respected though. Like I know that's a thing. That's why I wanted to listen to the album, because I know a lot of people were like giving this album like critically acclaimed, as opposed to like, you know, social media blowing up and shit.
Right. Yeah, he's TDE, so he already has that like stamp of approval. So
right. If they're fucking with him, you got it. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. I added it to the Apple playlist right now. I'll check it out. I have some downtime this week, which is dope.
And quick,
go ahead.
Not to derail you, but quick honorable mention. I listened to, after all this beef stuff, I listened to Kanye Graduation again.
Oh,
and
wow.
That blew my mind. I wanted to almost shed a tear at how great that album was. It was like one of the few albums I ever purchased physically.
Yes.
And I was like,
Same.
holy shit, 10 songs or whatever it is, pretty much only Kanye. And there was like no skips. I'm like, we need to get back to this.
No skips. But bro, think about like, I remember, so that's funny you mentioned Graduation, because that was when they were doing their previous like marketing thing of like 50 versus Kanye, right? Mm-hmm. Like just the idea of that, like 50 came close with record sales, but like think about when whoever like, I think it was all under Universal, whoever, like when they turned in those albums, bro, Graduation runs laps over the album that we can't even remember because it wasn't fucking memorable 50 Cent's album. Like that shit was trash, bro. Like trash, dude. Like that was crazy. Like that was the one that's, at least for me, because that made everyone like a Kanye fan. Because like even 50 heads were like, nah, yo, this ain't, man, we love you, dog. G unit, but like, yo, this ain't it, dog. Like this ain't. Yeah. So yeah, that Graduation album was phenomenal on its own. But then the idea that they try to compare that to whatever 50 Cent was doing it was like, nah, dog. Like this is, y'all cannot compare because this shit's not even close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That album blew my mind. It's probably my favorite one from him. And I sat there and like listened to all that shit last night when I was bored and came across it again. So
dude, but that was a phenomenal time in music though, because dude, that was freshman year. That album came out in 2007.
Yep.
Freshman year for me. And dude, I got a new Kanye album every year. I was in college essentially, bro. So freshman year was that. Sophomore year, unfortunately, his mom passed away like in between. So he dropped 808s and Heartbreaks. I don't think he dropped something junior year, but at the beginning, towards the end of senior year, he dropped My Dark Twisted Fantasy. Yeah. I'm just like, bro, like what the fuck? Like, yo, those 3 bodies of work alone are just fucking wild. So again, we say Drake versus Drake. It's also Kanye versus Kanye because really like his catalog is fucking insane. But again, I don't think we should be comparing like Jesus is King to, you know, Graduation. No. Like it's 2 different types of music. Yeah.
And unfortunately, both of these guys, I looked at like several different sites out of curiosity, and they pretty much like when comparing both artists, Drake and Kanye, to their own catalogs, both CLB and Donda were pretty much both towards the bottom.
Oh yeah, 100%. I might take CLB over Views. But Views did have like bangers that like songs that became bangers, right? Like the WizKid, Hotline Bling, like, you know, like so that's the thing, bro. These dudes are fucking really you know, victim of their own success, but you know, as they fucking laugh their tears away with millions.
Right.
Dude, but for me, obviously, you know, speaking like you know, when your brother passed, like Cudi, we spoke about Cudi like being like super impactful in both our lives growing up musically. So for me, dude, it had to be the Drake and Cudi song, I Miss You Too. Like starting with Juice WRLD and just that whole flow. And then again, I think Cudi just went harder on this song than he did on the Kanye song. I don't know. It was dope, bro. Like I remember when So Far Gone dropped, when, you know, Man on the Moon 1 dropped, and it was just like, holy fuck, like what, and they're both like my age, like what the fuck is going on?
Right.
So yeah, bro, that was just a moment for all the kids in college and seniors in high school. Like again, it was a dope moment itself, like nostalgic, but also just, I thought a thoroughly well thought out and executed song. So that's my Heat of the Week.
Nice. Yeah, not mad at it at all. Love that song.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Good episode, bro. Energy was good. Hope the people liked it. Let the people know where they can catch it and what else we got going on.
For sure. Yeah, you can catch us at audio-theory.com. New episode every week. We're on all major streaming platforms. For the Heat of the Week selections, check out the Spotify playlist as well as the Apple Music playlist. You can find links to that on the site. Still working on the interview merch stuff. I know we say that every single week, but don't worry, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. We have to get the merch before Columbia, so that's a month away. So
for sure. Yeah, we'll work something out for that. Even if it's like a test run and we just get a couple items for ourselves first or something.
Yeah, first.
But yeah, tune in.
All right, peoples. Well, dude, appreciate you as always. Love you, man. Be safe. We'll talk soon, bro. Peace, guys.